The following elves are now excused for their afternoon breaks: Puff, Noel, Crumpet, Little Frosty, and Dreidel. Yesterday I sat behind a flushing elf named Gingersnap. I'd noticed Gingersnap back in training, and to be honest, I'm surprised she's lasted this long. No one can say she's not enthusiastic anymore. She'd have to medicate her. We'd be working overtime, all ready to go home, and she would come up to a manager. Excuse me. Can we please wear our outfits home? What possible pleasure do you get from boarding the subway dressed up as a gnome? She then went up to the same manager and goes, can I work as an elf year-round? So by far, my least favorite elf is one from Florida. I've called him the Walrus. The Walrus has a handlebar mustache, no chin, and the neck size of my waist. And in the locker rooms, he's confessed to be a bit of a ladies' man. We'd be working the magic window together, and he'd pull women to the side, wrap his arms around their shoulders, and go, I know you won't be asking Santa for good looks. You've already got those, pretty lady. I have to remind him that he just said that to a grown woman. A married wife with 3 children. But he goes, I didn't see any rings on those fingers. Then snaps to the next available woman and goes, hey, I know Santa's married, but I'm not. All breaking elves are now to report to the manager's office. Break is over. All we sell in Santaland are photos. It is required to take a photo of every single child, which then the parents can order or deny. You're allowed to bring your cameras, your video recorders, or whatever the media uses to exhaust me. These are parents bent over yelling on their righteous quest for documentation. During these times, children are rarely ever allowed to discuss their wants with Santa because they're too busy being art directed by their parents. Okay. I want a picture with Amy, Paul, Paulina, Kevin, and Damascus. How about that? Santa, could we do a picture with Amy sitting up on your shoulders, please? Great. Hey, Kevin, Paul, look at mommy. Now smile. Hi Santa. Can we do a photo when you have your arm around Paul where you're shaking hands with Kevin? How about that? Great. The worst is Santa. I don't know his name. No one does. There's this time in the house where it's pretty calm and you get to sit around and talk to your Santa. Most of these guys are calm, funny guys, but Santa takes his job a little too seriously. I went up to talk to him and I asked him, well, where do you live, Brooklyn or Manhattan? And he goes, well, I live at the North Pole with Mrs. Claus. Okay, but how do you make money? Santa doesn't need money. Okay, but what do you do for the rest of the year? I make toys with all the other elves. Santa jingles his sash bell when no one else is around. And he's actually recited the night before Christmas to me twice, with no one else in the house. Just us. By ourselves. What do you do with a nut like that? Oh, and he goes, oh, little elf, bring me a throat lozenge. I remind him I have a name, Crumpet. And then I bring him a throat lozenge. A woman was paying for her pictures at the checkout, and below her on the ground was her child, kicking and heaving, throwing a tantrum. She goes, oh, Riley, if you don't behave yourself right now, Santa's not going to bring you those toys you asked for. He stands up and goes, oh, yes, he will, you liar. Santa told me he would. She then grabs my arm and goes, hi there, Elf. Crumpet, can you please tell Riley that if he doesn't behave himself immediately, Santa's gonna bring him coal for Christmas? I tell her that Santa no longer does traffic in coal. Nowadays, he comes to your house and steals your TV and your electrical appliances. Come here. He's gonna steal all of your appliances, your TV and your fridge. All your food is gonna spoil and smell terrible. It's gonna be so cold and dark. Man, are you going to suffer? You're going to wish that you had never heard the name Santa, ever. I changed my name from Crumpet to Blisters. I know it's a little on the trollish side, but circumstances have eroded my elfin spirit. Today was my last day at work, and on this day I worked with a Santa that I'd never had worked with before. The thing about this Santa was, he never asked the children what they wanted, but instead he tailored his response to every single child. The thing is, making them feel relaxed and welcomed enough to submit to his idea of Christmas. On this day, a week's worth of preparation had prepared us for 23,000 chaotic people, all pretending as if they're trying to get on the last train out of town. This all threw me completely because I am not a good person. And I never have been, and on this day I've never even been mistaken for good. But all of a sudden, I was good by association. My plane was set to leave at 8 o'clock, and I stood around to the very last minute. And it was with a heavy heart that I reported to the manager's office to tell her I had to leave, and I loved this woman. She raised her voice a few times to me in the past, but that was directed at the old me. I thought that maybe we'd chat, maybe laugh, maybe cry, be left with a feeling you could hold in your heart forever. And I thought maybe she'd want to hang my hat up in the Elfin Hall of Fame.